Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very much of a wonderful evening and a wonderful day. Guys, just to let you know, I won't be able to be shooting from next week because next week is actually school holidays. So I all hope you enjoy your holidays and I hope you'll be able to enjoy your holidays. I will see you when the schools reopen again. But for my viewers, I'm very grateful for your support and for you guys viewing my episodes and as well watching them means greatly a lot to me, completely a lot to me, and I'm very grateful for you guys. So just guys know that for those of you who are exactly watching shorts, you'll be receiving today's video. But for those of you who are watching the long video, you'll be able to receive it on Monday because I have a bit of a problem in downloading it on Friday. So you're able to receive it on Monday, next week Monday, on the holidays. I'll be able to download it from next week Monday on the holidays. So on today's episode, we're to speak about Zero, who is a supervillain and a very powerful assassin and a high-ranking member of a secret society of supervillains known as the Order of the 12. That exactly is founded and led by the Universal Prince with his goal to become the Universal King and thrust the sacred universe and the known universe into chaos and into further destruction for his plan so that he can exactly rule from that chaos and from that destruction that he's really caused and that he's really caused it and he's really quietly behind it and his group of masterminds as well. So let's exactly proceed. In Zero's early life, he was raised by the Formation Hunters in the Formation Hunter Academy, where he was exactly raised by the Formation Hunters in the Formation Hunter Academy, where his parents exactly were killed and wiped out by the dark magic users during the Great War against the original Lord of Magic's forces. During at that time, Zero became more competitive against Vargo Starwood Smith, who was exactly a Four-Nation Hunter, and he decided in order to compete against him and in order to find a way to defeat him once and for all. He was exactly trained in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, tactician, agility, and as well as an endurance as well. To doing so, he became more very much competitive and very much competitive against Vargo Smith, and was able to exactly fight up against Vargo Smith in swordsmanship during their training in the Academy of the Four Nation Hunters, able to purposely try to find a way to purposely defeat Vargo Smith, but Vargo Smith able to overpower him within the Academy, and Zero exactly saw to Vargo Smith that he will exactly defeat him and that he is once again his greatest adversary and worthy opponent of all time, and that he'll make sure that he will defeat Vargo Smith when the time comes when you'll be able to face off against him during at that time. During at that time, Zero began his own mission, his own quest, studying about the history of the Shadow Force, learning about the group of rogue evil Four Nation Hunters who are led by Vargul, who are led by Valak Hellfire, a rogue Four Nation Hunter with a mission and a goal to exterminating the supernaturals and the aliens and superhumans off the sacred world and by wiping them out completely. He learns that this plan, this goal that Vargo Fire and the original of the magic exactly created, were able to exactly create and start about, was exactly a means to an end. But he discovered that the rogue group of evil Four Nation Hunters known as the rogue group of evil Four Nation Hunters known as the Shadow Force was still quietly at large and was still quietly led. During at that time, Zero exactly wind up in a building, and he decided to use that building as his own headquarters, for him to exactly operate from. He began training himself in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, also in shurikens, and also in blades and guns and rocket launchers and grenades, and even took a very special technology known as the red and yellow orange box, capable of opening portals and dimensions to other worlds and to other universes. During at that time, Zero learned that Valak Hellfire was killed by his daughter, known as Ivy Ferris Hellfire, who was killed during in battle, who was preparing to wipe out and exterminate the supernaturals and the aliens and the superhumans in the process, but that quietly led to his demise in the process of that goal. And very much quietly at that time, Zero became quietly fond and became well aware that Vogel Smith is quietly aligned with the Universal Heroes and is quietly as well working with the full Universal Heroes and working with the newly forged alliance of Four Nation Hunters. He exactly learned that these team of heroes are becoming too powerful and becoming way too compatible, and that his adversaries and his foes won't be able to stand up against them or won't be able to defeat them, not even by one last chance. Zero then took it upon himself to lead this rogue group of evil Four Nation hunters known as the Shadow Force in order to become the current leader, which was able to exactly do so. He found them and he promised them to lead them to greatness, not to the goal that they rightfully believed in exterminating and wiping out the supernaturals and the aliens and the aliens and superhumans in the process, rather than not to exterminate them, rather than to rule over them and to conquer them with an iron fist, which the group of Shadow Hunter, which the group of evil Phoenician hunters known as the Shadow Force exactly chose Zero to become the leader. During at that time, the Universal Prince approached Zero with an interesting proposition, stating that they should join forces to work together with their common goals in order to rule the sacred universe and the known worlds and the known planets across sacred existence, for them to exactly become the controllers to become the rulers of the cosmos and of the known universe as well, which could also benefit Zero in many ways. Zero exactly shook hands with the Universal Prince and stated that they are hereby associates and they are hereby partners, and was willing to exactly team up with him. The Universal Prince gave Zero all the coordinates and all the locations of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders controlling bases and territories for him to secretly take over them, and for him to secretly take over those territories, and for him to exactly secretly take over those territories, and for the Universal Prince to exactly expanding his rule and his domain throughout the sacred world and throughout the rest of the known worlds, which could benefit him in many multiple ways, as for Zero's reputation as well in the process. Zero reluctantly agreed that he'll begin staging raids and staging attacks on those territories, and that it will exactly benefit him in many ways, which was able to exactly work from. On the on the 1st of August, Zero and the rogue group of Shadow Forces and a rogue group of evil Formation Hunters staged a raid on clubs and brothels and bars as well, able to exactly remove the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders from controlling those territories, stating that the Universal Prince is now in charge of these clubs and all these alien clubs, of all these supernatural clubs and brothels, and that they'll be run by him and they're fully under his control. The Shadow Empire Warlord Commander refused, and they decided to fight against Zero. Zero was able to kill one Shadow Empire Warlord Commander, stating that to pledge allegiances and loyalty to the Order of the 12 and to the Universal Prince as well, which will be able to do so if they exactly show their allegiance and their loyalty to him by any means necessary. Otherwise, they will pay with their life. The Shadow Empire warlords and commanders show their allegiance and their loyalty to the Order of the 12 and to the Universal Prince. In return, they exactly made a deal that they'll supply the Universal Prince and the members of the Order of the 12 with destructive and powerful technology as part of their deal, and they were able to continue to showing their allegiance and their loyalty to the Order of the 12 and to the rest of the members of and to the Universal Prince's forces and his operatives as well. And Zero exactly shook hands with the Shadow Empire warlords, stating that this is the beginning of their partnership and the beginning of their great work together, which could benefit them in many ways. Zero began even launching huge-scale invasions on other worlds and other home planets on the 15th of August by using warships and battle cruisers across other worlds, and by attacking them and also by selfly destroying them. Vogel Starwood Smith was quietly present during the attack of the other worlds and of the other civilization, and he decided in order to follow up against Zero, which he did. He was able to overpower Zero during that battle, and Zero was very quietly unhappy and very unquietly unpleased that Smith is growing very much quietly too skilled and very much too skilled and too powerful with his hand-to-hand combat and with his swordsmanship, and he decided to retreat, which he conjured up a black smoke. He told the battle cruisers to destroy one planet moon, which they did by doing so, and they were able to jump off straightly through hyperspace soon, as fast as possible and as quickly as possible. Zero was able to meet up with the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders on the 20th of August, stating that the plan is quietly working well, that the Universal Prince's grip on other worlds and other planets has quietly shown to be a demonstration of his power and of his controlling of other worlds and other civilization, meaning that everything else is going under control. The Shadow Empire warlords commanders exactly told Zero that the other Shadow Empire warlords and commanders have decided to sow their allegiance and pledge their allegiance and their loyalty to the Order of the 12 and to your master and to your big bad master, the Universal Prince, and his organization. And they'll continue supplying the Order of the 12 with more destructive technology and powerful technology, unlike anything else I've ever seen. And Zero was reluctantly pleased and very happy with this deal and with this agreement as well. On the 1st of September, Zero attended a meeting of the Order of the 12 on an ancient dock within within an ancient, dark, powerful crystal temple, where they were able to speak about the operation, where a memory sister was able to congratulate the new enforcer on the new work known as Windmaster, stating that the Shadow Empire warlords commanders have successfully pledged their allegiance and their loyalty to the Order of the 12, and as well by thanking Razor with his work and with his commitment, by telling all the other civilizations to pledge their allegiance and their loyalty to the Universal Prince and to the Order of the 12 as well. And Zero was quietly present of the meeting, and he quietly attended the meeting as well. On the 10th of September, Zero continued a swordsmanship training with the rogue group of evil Four-Nation hunters known as the Shadow Force, with the rogue group of evil Four-Nation hunters known as the Shadow Force, with the swordsmanship, training them in order to fight the opponent and how to take them on. After that, he attended a meeting of the Order of the 12 on the 15th of September, where the Universal Prince reassured the members of the Order of the 12 that everything else is going accordingly to plan, the way it's supposed to be, and everything else is going the way it's intended to be, and then everything else will falter according to plan, and the operations are quietly controlled, with the Shadow Empire and the Star Empire that are eager to wage war for soul dominance and control over the sacred universe and the sacred world, will finally determine who's the sole ruler of the cosmos and of the rest of sacred existence. And meaning that removing their greatest competitor out of the way, known as the new Little Magic and his new secret society of supervillains known as the Order of the Power, will be a mutual short destruction for the ultimate goal and for the ultimate purposes. But the Universal Prince reassured the members of the Order of the 12 that everything else is going according to plan, and that he has a plan in place to use the Universal Earth Heroes to remove his competitor out of the way permanently and for good this time. And Zero was quietly present of the meeting. Zero continued training the rogue Four-Nation hunter group of rogue group of evil Four-Nation hunters known as the Shadow Force and the Swordsman training, and he continued to practicing them, and he continued to training them as much as possible. He was able to meet up with the Shadow Empire warlords, the commanders, on his other bases of operation, on the 20th of September, where they was able to learn that where one Shadow Empire warlord told Zero that all the other Shadow Empire warlords, the commanders, have successfully shown their allegiance and their loyalty to the new Little Magic and to his new empire, stating that he is quietly more powerful and more gifted, and he has more proteges and more students at his beck and call, and he has more powerful resources and more powerful members and more associates who are stronger and more willing to exactly aid him with his goals and with his mission as well. Zero was reluctantly very much greatly pleased, decided that it's time that they take care of the Universal Earth Heroes once and for all. On the 1st of October, the Universal Earth Heroes arrive on the abandoned world and on the abandoned ice world, on the abandoned snowy ice world and planet, when they found Zero and the rest of the Shadow Empire warlords and the rogue group of evil Four-Nation hunters, known as the Shadow Force, who were preparing to ambush them. And Zero exactly told them that this is exactly the orders coming from the masters, and also from his associates, meaning that it's time for them to be wiped out. The Universal Earth Heroes exactly marshaled up their troops, and they decided to fight against the enemy straight away. They took on the Shadow Empire warlords and also took on the rogue group of evil Four-Nation hunters known as the Shadow Force, and they continued to exactly taking them down. Zero continued to focusing his attack on Universal Earthman with his swordsmanship, and he continued to fighting up against him until it was overpowered by him, and he decided in order to disappear during the battle, and the rest of the assassins and the rest of the rogue Four-Nation hunters were successfully taken into custody, with the rest of the Shadow Empire warlords commanders taken into custody and sentenced straightly into the Astral Prison, a prison designed to house super villains and super criminals and rogue superheroes and rogue powerful dark magic users known as the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches, and powerful beings of evil beings and evil witches as well that were sentenced there. Zero met up with Professor War on the 10th of October, telling him that it's time that he release those super villains and those super criminals under his custody. In return, he'll be able to supply him with Ender's Dark Crystal technology as part of his agreement, which will be able to benefit him and the founders in many multiple ways. Professor War shook his hands with Zero, stating that the founders would be reluctantly pleased of this progress and of this deal as well. And he was very completely happy and very much completely good with the deal. The prisoners were secretly released into the custody of Zero and to the members of the Order, of the 12, and Zero completely told them that their plans Their roles are very crucial, is for them to exactly work with the dark druids and with the dark witches with a dark experiments notation. And the prisoners were very, very quietly happy to oblige. The dark druids and the dark witches were able to create and were able to combine their were able to combine their dark magic and their dark magic abilities on the crystal energy by combining it with nanotech and also with technology, able to reactivate the crystal's power. Able to activate the crystal's power and its energy at the time. And Zero was quietly present with the experiments, which took place on the 15th of October as well. And Zero was quietly present during the experiment notation as well. Zero was quietly present on the 1st of November when the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the rest of the super criminals launched a full-scaling attack on the Intergalactic Coalition, and he was quietly able to watch from behind the scene that the attack went well accordingly to plan, and that everything else is gratefully going accordingly to plan the way it's intended to be. And the rest of the enemy were taken into custody and sentenced straightly into the Astral Prison or the Sacred Prison or the Dark Ark Prison, which are designed to house super criminals and super villains and rogue heroes and rogue dark magic users and rogue Shadow Empire warlords and commanders as well. During at that time, Zero met up with the Universal Prince within his central headquarters, telling him that the plan is quietly working according to plan and everything else is in order the way it's meant to be. The Universal Prince told Zero that your greatest competitor and your greatest adversary is Vargol Starwood Smith, who's a Four-Nation Hunter and who's a high-ranking member of the new Alliance and of the new Universal Heroes as well, meaning that taking him on is going to be your biggest work and your biggest grand work ever achieved, and meaning that he'll pose a threat to our operation and as well to the plan. Zero exactly reassured the Universal Prince that everything else is under control and the situation is under his control. That taking down Wago will be his top main priority, and that will be his top main priority in his main mission, and that he will be removed out of the way as the rest of the Four-Nation Hunters as well. And they shook hands, stated that everything else is in schedule the way it's meant to be. On the 10th of November, Zero and the rest of the rogue group of evil Four-Nation Hunters under the Shadow Force began exactly taking down the rest of the other Four-Nation Hunters within Sacred City, where Valvo Smith and Ivy Ferris Hellfire and Hank Starwood and Sam Starwood were exactly quietly present. They were able to exactly help the other Four-Nation Hunters who were fighting against the other evil group of Four-Nation Hunters. And Zero exactly marched in, took on Valvo Smith with his swordsmanship training, and was able to take him down. For quite some time, Ivy Ferris exactly helped Valvo fight against his greatest adversary, and Zero exactly saw revenge and vengeance against Vargol, and that this time he will take him down permanently, and was able to disappear through the smoke screen which he created. The rest of the evil Four-Nation Hunters were taken into custody and sent straight into the Astral Prison and to the Dark Ark and to the Sacred Prison as well. Zero was able to meet up with the members of the Order of the 12 on the 1st of December, telling them that the plan is quietly in place and that the enemy took the bait and that the Universal Heroes are already marshaling their forces against their greatest competitor and against their greatest enemy, known as Lord Shadowjack and Lord Justin and Red Bolt and the Dark Order and the Order of the Five and the New Little Magic's organization known as the Order of Power, meaning that they'll be purposely out of the way and they'll be wiped out completely. And the Universal Prince was reluctantly happy and very quietly satisfied that they cannot underestimate the Universal Hero's ability in thwarting their operation and as well as their plans, meaning that they have to be successfully taken out and be wiped out of the way with the Four-Nation Hunters as well, meaning by summoning the monsters from the Dark Dimension by any means necessary, and the time which is successfully agreed with this tactical plan, with this wise tactic by summoning the monsters to wipe out the Four-Nation Hunters and the Universal Heroes as well, meaning it could be the worthy strategy to finally seizing control of the sacred universe and of the sacred world in the process as well. And Zero was reluctantly pleased and very, very happy that the operation will be going according to schedule as it was intended to be. Despite this, guys, Zero is very ambitious, very ruthless. He loves the thrill of battle. He loves to compete against his greatest competitor of a Four Nation Hunter superhero known as Vogel, Starwood Smith. He will do whatever it takes to beat him and taking him down. He's very, very, very much determined in order to taking him down and in order to remove him out of the way. He despises and hates the Four Nation Hunters, and he blames them for the wars that have exactly been taking over, that have been coming and going throughout the following years and throughout the following centuries, and he'll do whatever it takes to wipe them out, even forming an alliance with powerful criminals such as the Time Witches, the Memory Sisters, the Universal Prince, and as well Darkblade, and as well Darkblade and Power Boy, and as well Darkblade and Power Boy as well, who are the members of the Order of the 12, and he's willing to exactly aid the Universal Prince in his ultimate goal to claiming the Universal Throne, so that he can thrust the known universe and the sacred universe into chaos and into further destruction and into chaos. And he's willing to exactly help the monsters wipe out the Four Nation Hunters in the process as well. He believes in the Universal Prince's goal and his mission as well. He maintains the Order of the 12 spaces as well, and he maintains the Order of the 12's individual bases and as well the central headquarters, since it's a dark ancient crystal temple where they can exactly meet and convene. He's very, very skilled in swordsmanship, agility, endurance, and also marksmanship and in hand-to-hand combat. He's very, very strategic and very, very, very master tactician, very, very good in manipulating. He's the leader of a rogue group of evil Four Nation Hunters known as the Shadow Force that was quietly formerly led by Valak Hellfire back then. Now it's currently led by Zero, who is a current member of an evil group of supervillains known as the Order of the 12, with the goal of ruling and conquering the cosmos and the rest of sacred existence in a process. Despite this, Zero is very smart and very intelligent and very, very powerful assassin who knows very well not to underestimate the universal heroes or not to underestimate the Four Nation Hunters' abilities in thwarting their operation and as well their plans. He believes in the Universal Prince's goals and as well his mission, and he's willing to exactly help him achieve his ultimate goal and his ultimate plan, as long as he benefits from that goal, where he can exactly rule the territories of the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders in a process, which could exactly help him seize more power, gain more power and more control over the other worlds and over the other civilization in a process as well, which could exactly benefit him in many, many, many ways. Despite this, Zero is very intelligent, very smart and very manipulative and very deceptive and very cruel and very ruthless in nature. He's very, very cruel. He possesses superhuman strength and superhuman speed. He's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, tactician. He's incredibly smart, which makes him the worthy adversary for a Four Nation Hunter known as Vogel Starwood Smith, who is a member of the New Alliance and a member of the New Universal Hero. He views Vogel Starwood Smith as a worthy adversary and a worthy opponent, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to taking him down and to bringing him down, no matter what the cost it does to him exactly. His ambition has exactly helped the Universal Prince in his goals for many, many years and for many, many years. It is the reason that the Universal Prince and the members of the Order of the 12 are still in power, because of Zero's connection through the sacred underworld and through the sacred criminal world, and through his connection in forming alliances with other powerful criminals such as Professor War, Ghostmaster, and also Red Knight and Golden Knight, and the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful, in order for in this thing they help him for him in order for him to reach his ultimate goal, to exactly bear fruit in controlling other worlds and other civilization in a process as well, which could benefit him in many, many ways. Zero is very intelligent. He possesses rare intellect, and he's very smart and very cruel and very ruthless in nature. He loves the thrill of battle. He knows very well not to underestimate the Four Nation Hunters or the Universal Heroes or the Intergalactic Coalition or the United Heroes or the World Heroes, especially with the abilities in thwarting the operation as well with their plans. He learns not to take them lightly ever again, completely. He's very smart and very, very intelligent. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I will exactly see you next time when the schools open. Enjoy your holidays. Have a blessed holiday, and I will see you next time when the schools be open, and we'll be able to talk again about the next bad guy and the next criminal. Just know this, guys. I appreciate your support in viewing my episodes and also in watching them. It means gratefully a lot to me. I'm very thankful for you guys. God bless you all. Enjoy your holidays and stay safe. Ciao.